Hi, good morning or good whatever time it is for you now. Today in this session, we're going to go over how to access BigQuery and pull the data out of it for any reporting needs you may have. So just to give you a bit of a background on the Lakehouse, the Lakehouse can mean many things. It could just mean the entire solution, including core and everything else. But the data itself is housed in BigQuery. So let's take a look at how to get to it. As you can see here, we're going to kind of assume you've already been able to log into your virtual desktop. And you can see here I have my core, and then my second tab is the virtual desktop. And you'll see my doubled toolbars because this one is my local machine and this is the virtual one. And of course, you can maximize your window, as I will do here, to kind of make the experience a little more seamless. Okay, now let's get to BigQuery. BigQuery is housed in Google Cloud, so you'll need to log into Chrome on your browser. So you just click Google Chrome. Make sure you choose your CDPHE core.cloud account. So you can choose that one here. And you can see up here that I have that CDPHE core.cloud, so I'm not logged into my normal one. Of course, if you want to do work that is more associated with your regular account, you can open another Chrome browser, or even just click this one and switch to the other profile. Okay, in order to get to Google Cloud, what you'll want to do is go to this website. It's console.cloud.google.com. So this is the Google Cloud console. To do that, you're going to be prompted to sign in again. There are a lot of sign-ins because we want to make sure that the security is good. There's a lot of sensitive data in here. Once you sign in once, as long as your VDI stays up, you will not have to sign in again. All right, now we're in the Google Cloud console. Now, Google Cloud has any number of different tools available inside of it. You'll have like BigQuery, Dataplex, Google Cloud Storage, and many more. Honestly, the entire Lakehouse, including core, is run in Google Cloud. But the Cloud Console is sort of the primary way where you can interact with it directly. And in order to navigate to these different services, this search bar is actually really handy. So you can just click up there, type in BigQuery or even start it, and it'll know that you want to go to BigQuery. You just click on that. Wonderful, here you are. So this is the BigQuery console. On the left, you'll see different things you can kind of do inside BigQuery. And then here you'll see a list of different databases and servers and that kind of thing. So if you're familiar with SQL Server Management Studio, this will look a little familiar. This top level here is called a project in GCP. It's analogous to a server in SQL Server. And down here you have different data sets, as they're called in GCP, but they are analogous to databases inside of SQL Server. If you expand these, you will see additional tables. So it kind of got a hierarchy, goes from the project to the data set to the table. And then in the table, there's columns and rows, of course, like you might imagine. You will have access to different data sets here. I'll quickly describe what they are, and we can go in more depth in another video. But the primary ones where data is housed organically are the raw vault and the business vault. The raw vault collects data from all the different data sources, including their entire history, and doesn't do a ton of standardization to get them there. Then the business vault takes only the most recent copies of each data set and does a little bit of standardization around things like county name and gender values, etc. So you won't just have like MF, you'll have male, female, that kind of deal. And in the business vault is probably where you want to run most of your queries. Unless you're interested in finding the history of a case, you won't really have any reason to deal with the raw vault. And then these different info marts, which may look a little different for you, that the names of all these might change a little, but these are essentially like playgrounds or sandboxes for your team. So if you are a user of Epidrax or a member of Communicable Disease, you will have an info mart where you can create tables, create views, and do whatever work you need to do. Let's kind of go through how that would happen. So the data itself is housed in the business vault, so let's expand that. You can click on it, and you'll see some details about the database. Down here, I'm just going to choose this table because it has most of the person level data. You can click the table, you'll get all the tables, columns, and things about that. You can choose query, and we'll just make a new tab. And the query language is almost identical to SQL. There are some minor syntax differences you'll notice. Just run the query. And voila. So you can see that this comment here, your query results may be limited because you do not have access to certain rows. This is because data in the Lakehouse comes from many, many sources, not all of which are pertinent to every user. And here you can see, for example, that different columns are marked with their record source. So if you are a user from a communicable disease team, you will only have access to rows that have that EpiTrax record marked. If you're a member from the immunization team, you will only have them if they have the immunization team marked, and so on. And this is sort of how we control it. You want to dismiss this, and now you can kind of scroll back and forth and see what needs to be seen. You can see like race, name, so on. This is all fake data here right now. And of course, this is a very simple query. You can run whatever level of complexity you want. Now let's see how you can save this query so for future use. So you just click Save. You can save the query. This saves it to your account, and you can run it in the future. You can schedule it for the future if you want. But probably more important is saving as a view. So if you want to save a query so that everyone at your team can easily use it and access kind of a live custom-built data set, this is how you'll want to do it. So for example, if you need to send a file to the CDC, what you'll want to do or could do is write a query that formats everything just right for the CDC. You can name the columns and change the data types and pull the right data with the right filters. Then you can just save it as a view. So let's pretend I did that, even though this is quite simple. The data set you'll want to choose is your info mart. So let's imagine this is EpiTrax here. And for the table, we'll just call this sample view. Now you'll want to make sure that you use good naming conventions, maybe with the name of your team at the beginning of the table name, just so it's all clear. Now we press save. Awesome. Now down here, you can see in the info mart, there is this sample view available. If I just open that one, it's got all those fields that I pulled in the last query. In the lineage, you can see where it came from. In the details, you can scroll down and see the query it's based on. And you can query this view. You can also just export the data from the view to a Google Sheet so that you can easily hand that off to whoever needs it, and any number of other things. Okay, that is our brief tour of how to get into BigQuery and just query a table, save it as a view. Thank you.